I think that one's imagination, fantasizing something over something, or giving narratives like false narratives or a false image onto someone or something that you're currently doing, your pursuit or your goal. It could be anything. It's like the strongest emotion that a human can have because it's related with how we survive. Like it's literally how we survive in this world without losing, without being senselessness. I mean, senseless. Like a senseless person. I feel like it's deeply embedded in our code, like in our nature, to keep on fantasizing, keep on romanticizing of the something that we didn't have or we could have, in order to shape the desire and keep on moving forward at the end of the day. And it's not something that we can control. I think that it's not something that you can control. You can not do it. You can force yourself not to. Let's say you feel like you if you go to the gym every single day, 6 days a week, you dial in your diet, you sleep well, you train well, you're gonna get jacked lean in a couple of years, and you feel like that's gonna change your life. Like you feel it. It's not about logically having, like, you can rationalize the reasons behind it and you can reason it well. No, it's not about that. At the end of the day, you just feel like you're gonna be happier, you know once you reach back your dream physique. And you feel like a lot of people like people who don't know will appreciate or like recognize and validate you for looking better, or like you're like being jacked kind of thing. I seriously don't think it's something to do with choices, like things that we feel like we have. Yeah, like it's things that we believe that we have authorship in. And the point is, like, the point of like this whole point is, you cannot choose your desire nor your feeling. And at the end of the day, what the things that you're currently on doing, like upon doing every single day without you realizing or you realizing, I feel like those are the things that you genuinely want. Your wheels is constantly on act, constantly telling you to keep on like grinding and going forward in that thing, on these things. And you don't really think that much about it. That's the thing. I actually made a video about this, that when we are doing something that we like, something that you do every single day, something that you're familiar with, you just don't think that much about it. Like, you don't think about the consequences. Even if you're late, you don't really overthink about it. You just go, and you know how much time it's gonna take. So you like, all right, today was a bit light, but at least I'm here and I'll be finishing this in like 2 hours. So that after this, I'll probably get back to home and, like, do my stuff. But it's kind of late, but it's fine. Like, you just feel bad about it, but you don't stay in that. You don't dwell in that emotion for that long time. But what happens when you're trying to do something but you don't like? Let's say you don't want to study, or you don't want to do your homework. You don't want to do something. This one thing that's been inside your, like, that's been making space in your head for a very long time, and you didn't remove it. You didn't deal with it. It's constantly there inside your head, but you just didn't do it because you focus too much on the cost. You don't get that much of reward because every single time, it's not the first time that it happened. Mostly, usually, the things that you miss doing, or you just don't like doing, are constantly there every single, like, once a month, or like once a week, or once a day, like every single day. So it's like a habit of yours. You no longer the first time you avoided it, confronting it, trying to do it like a couple of hours that it actually takes. You didn't do it, so it ended up taking, let's say, 7 hours. You feel really shit about it, and you decided to avoid it the next time, because now it's now like kind of like a negative energy. It gives you negative energy. The moment you think about it, you no longer think about the reward, because it doesn't actually gives you reward, but the opposite. Like, opposite things, things like you feel shit about yourself because you keep avoiding this thing, and you gotta, you know, but you gotta do it. But it's been happening numerous times. It's become a habit inside you, so it's no longer like you cannot. It's impossible for you to see the reward part, because you cannot, like, it outweighs the, how do I say, the sacrifice, the cost of doing it outweighs reward every single time, and it gets keep on getting bigger and bigger. So, like, in order to break this cycle, the best way to do, in my opinion, like, regardless of dealing with your insecurities or habits, or, like, dealing with your bad habits, trying to put your life back to where you were back then, or like putting your life in the right track, everything has to do with really small, embarrassingly small step, and just like keep on telling you, just like, it's not that late, like, it doesn't really matter. I get how impossible and how difficult difficult it is, right now. You feel like, let's say, like, people around you are doing like 5, 10, level 5 and 10, but you're struggling in level 1. Like, it takes all enormous more time compared to others, because they've been consistently doing, and you sacked off, or you just avoided it for a very long time. So, but you just got to admit the fact that it's gonna take this long time, because of the things, because it's stacked, like, it's too much, like, it's like a mountain. You gotta work on it. And you just gotta keep on reminding yourself that I am doing what I can, you know although this might not be enough for to reach, just like, to be around others, like, to be in the average level. I'm doing it, regardless of that. Even if today, let's say, I had to solve this, like, one math problem, and it took me like an hour to solve it, to understand it, or the whole day to just understand the concept of this one thing. Then you just got to admit the fact, okay, maybe this math level, like, this thing that I'm working on, is way too advanced for me. So it's gonna take a lot longer than I thought. And you just gotta keep on going. Like, it's embarrassingly small, obviously, yes, but you just gotta keep on telling yourself that I'm not late yet. It's not late yet. I can still do it. If you're my age, especially around my age, let's say I'm 21, I'm turning 21 this year. And one thing that I keep on telling myself every single time is that even I fuck this up so badly, even I, even if I, let's say, I slack off for the next 5 years, 9 years, and I don't accomplish a single thing in my life, I'll still be 30. I'll still be 30. And that's something that, I don't know, makes me feel like I have so much than any other people above my age. Like, I have so much time, and I can make a generational comeback every single year. So, like, this year I'm gonna focus on gym. The next year, well, like, I mean, simultaneously, while we're focusing on my gym, I'm gonna do like X, Y, and Z. Like, the next year I'll be completely different person, and I'm gonna tackle on the things that I've been avoiding for a long time, like Spanish, let's say, or new language, French, like something that I wanted to learn for a long time. Like, you can make, yeah, you can build and achieve so much in just like 6 to 8 months, by keep on showing up and stacking up this, like, day by day, slow but like slowly but surely, step by step, you just stack up this mountain. And once it becomes part of you, you don't even realize that it's just working for you. It just clicks, and it becomes a part of your life again, and it becomes your habit. And it's like, you prove to yourself that you're a capable person. You're like, you're capable of doing these things in just like 6 to 8 months. You can achieve so much in this time. So, like, if I do like simple math, even if it takes like a year to, let's say, to put myself on an average level, or like even above average level, like top 5%, let's say, just in my school, or like actual average people, then I would have. so much of time. Like even if I hit 30, I have what, at least 50 more years to go. And it's not like I don't know if it's just me who keeps telling this. And like I even I myself, every single time I think about it, like it's just so crazy how like mind can convince you, like how you yourself can convince you to it's not even convince you, like yeah it is in a sense, but I feel like it's more to kind of telling yourself that you're not late at all. Whenever someone like because it's all inside your head. Like at this one time, I since I'm in Korea and it's a thing in East Asia. Everybody asks your age first, like age and name. Like that's a thing. I never asked my the age of my friends. I didn't even know that one of my friend was like 2 years older than me when I was in high school. Like that was like the thing that I knew. Like we've been knowing each other for like 5 years from since junior high, but that's like the first time I knew his age. It's really not a thing in Western culture, but in Korea it's a thing. And it's like I always acted like, oh, I shouldn't act like this. I shouldn't be too casual. I shouldn't use. I should keep on using formal language, like formal tone and honorifics every single time I speak to them in Korean, because I'm older and like I thought that it was something really really serious. I mean, it is, but like not to that point. Like I was fighting my own demon. Like I was fighting putting on this, like how do I say, like image of myself that isn't even true. Like I thought I would be perceived this way to them just because I was like a year or two older than them. So and like this one time, this girl, a girl from my group project told me like we can talk like casually, like you don't need to always like say honorifics. I mean speak with honorifics and kind of things. And I like that's what like the first time I realized like actually something that happened in reality, like actual event that happened, something that happened to me, of like realizing that I was the person who thought that like I was the one who was putting this stereotype to myself. Like nobody really cared about it at the end of the day, like, and we still like be friends and like it's all good right now. But so like the whole point is, even if you feel like, because feeling such it's so strong again, like I talked about this in like a lot in my YouTube, in my late like past 10 5 to 10 YouTube videos, how even if you can logically reason something, like you can rationalize something, doesn't mean that you feel that way. So a good, really good example of this that I another my personal anecdote is that I talked about this before. I had this girl who I flirted with, and like I got her number, Instagram, and we hung out like a couple, yeah, just 2 times. It was a good. Those two were good dates in my opinion, I thought. And she started ghosting me and kind of thing. So like it's not that big of a deal. Like we've only known each other for like 2 weeks, and like but my one side of me like started going crazy, that I was going nuts. Like actually I kept on thinking about her, and like I genuinely started like kind of like panicking and being so anxious about it. And another part of it, like I still remember that moment when I kept on telling myself that this is not that big of a deal. Like you just gotta move on. Like it really is not that big deal. You just gotta live your life and move on. It's not like seriously. I felt like I had another person inside me. You know, so I'm not saying you should always. It's at the end of the day you cannot control yourself, your feeling. So you can't. You um just need to like submit yourself. Like that's not the point, obviously. What I'm trying to say is feeling is really strong. Like it just goes it just passes you through. Like even if you're just like a mannequin who's signing and like keeps telling you something, and this a thing inside you, this will, it's like a plant. It just leans to light. It doesn't say anything. It doesn't negotiate. It just happens inside you. So it's so strong. And I get how difficult it is. Even for me, I'm still learning and I'm still trying to apply this to every single part of my life. Like just trying to do even like the smallest step is a step, and I just gotta keep on going for it consistently every single day. Like that's the whole thing. And the reason why that's difficult is because our mind keeps fucking us up. Like our mind, like our feelings is so real because like while you're working on it, it's not often that when I was so bad at math, I would literally like just how do I say, I felt like I cannot. I don't know if it's just me, but whenever I was trying to work on trying to force myself on doing something that I genuinely hated, I didn't like, I was like so unfamiliar with, then I felt like the moment, like every single second felt like the nights that I cannot fall asleep. Like you just gotta keep on going. That in your mind, you just gotta keep on laying down or like try to do other things, to do the eye movements, all the things, but it just doesn't work because you're consistently observing yourself. You're consistently being aware of the fact that you gotta sleep, you gotta pay attention to this. The fact that you cannot, like it's so crazy, and I understand how do I say, like this experience is something that's psychologically so painful because you have to do it, and at the same time, like your brain keeps over thinking about the things like, oh, but you're too light, like it's already over, like you cannot finish, there's just no way that you can do it. And like it's this hurts, and this lets you not keep on going, like this make it extremely difficult for you to keep on going because they are true. But the fact that another truth is that, okay, like you just gotta admit it, like okay, I get it, I understand, like it might be it might be too late, it might be I might have slacked off way too long for way too long, and I might be cooked, but I'm trying to make a comeback, generational comeback. Let me just lock in from now on. It's not even lock in if you actually try, because it's sometimes it makes you feel like it's not that big of a deal. Like it's so fascinating to do something that you hated, but like it starts clicking inside you. And every single time it happened, one thing that was in common for me is that is when I try to answer every single questions in my head about this one thing, and it takes a very long time. This another personal anecdote is this I had to like log in my chemistry exam, and genuinely I kind of got like near 10, 20 in my midterm, so I had to make a generational comeback for my finals. I had to get it like at least 95 or like full mark. So what I did, well, like starting from that point was like, okay, I took like this one question problem that took me like a whole day. I mean, my whole day, like 6 hours, because that's like usually the time I could study for. 6 hours to understand that one question, like how this whole thing works. Because I didn't even study the whole semester, like past before midterm, so I didn't even know like the very basic things. So what I had to do is like go all over down, like search on YouTube and internet, like very basic things. Starting from there, I print out all the like worksheets, exercise papers, and it took me like 2 to 3 days to finally solve the problem one in my homework by myself. And but like the moment you try and do it, like the moment that clicked, everything starts getting a lot easier. I'm not saying like now that I solved like question one, I can solve anything else like in like hours. Of course not. That's not just how it works. Of course, I had to spend a lot of time, a long time, but it kind of like accelerates like by time. Like it gets a lot easier and easier and easier. Like so, it also like makes you feel good about yourself. Excuse me, like looking at yourself, how you can do things, and you plan you plan yourself. I mean, you plan the things that you have to do and looking at you executing it really well, it it fits kind of like, how do I say it? Like it makes it really fascinating. It makes it fun, and that's the thing that I'm trying to apply to every single thing. And the problem of this is just the fact that it takes a very long time and it's very slow. So you don't get the kind of like instant gratification, just because it again, like it's going to take a very long time if you've been slacking off really for a very long time. And it might even take like a month, what depending on what your goal is. So you gotta like just set like the minimal goal. Like today, I'm gonna understand this one question, or like not even this one question. If I have to, it might even take like 2 days or like 3 days. And I know it's not something that it can be applied to every single part of our lives, but I feel like it just um like if you can utilize this, I feel like you can do like you can apply this to any kind of problems that you're dealing with in your life, especially if it's involved with like skill, you know, like something that you have to learn, or like something that you have to do in general, like something but feels like it's so massive at first. It feels like a mountain. You cannot even see the summit at first, but simply you start with wearing socks, you know, preparing all the things that you need for the climb, and you start climbing step by step, day by day. You know, I feel like that's the whole point. But again, I'm not saying this is easy. It becomes easy once it clicks, but like the way from the start to the feeling that you are going through this, you know, um, to see how you execute well, to see to to make the graph, you know, fluctuate at least. It'll take a very long time, a much longer than you think. So you got to start like genuinely now. If anything's bothering your mind, like you have that this one thing that like so many things inside your head that's making up space, and you never actually confronted them, then I think this is the moment. Like like it's I'm not asking for like, you know, if you're slacking off on something, or if you want to learn this one language, then you can start with ABCD. But promise yourself that you're gonna come back tomorrow. You know, you do ABCD today, okay. Tomorrow you're gonna do the same thing over again, but you might you might feel like it's too easy. Okay, then you can move on to the next level. You can start with the pronunciation of each alphabet, you know, and so on and so forth. I'm not an expert in this, but just wanted to share this with you guys. And like the ultimate goal of whole like every part, like these things that I'm telling you about is I don't want to. For me, the greatest fear that I have currently is that I feel like I have so much potential. Like I genuinely do. I feel like I have so much potential. I can be so much than who I am right now. And I'll be devastated if I slack off on anything that I am working on right now in the future. I feel like I'll regret it. I regret so much to the point I cannot live my life after that. So that's like the reason why, that's like the kind of motivation that I have, other than, you know, I have so much time, I will be fine. But also at the same time, I'm gonna show up every single day no matter what, because I know for a fact that I can make it. You know, I can do these things that I have in mind. So basically, you know, I have to focus more on Spanish, finish my diploma with all A's. You know, piano, I want to play it really well. In ears, I want to be ripped. I want to get jacked. You know, in gym. You know, like more certificates that I'll need for my AI data science, my major, you know, like things like this that will take actual years. But I'm like, it'll be fine, because if I just keep on showing up every single day, I just have so much time. I cannot lose. You know, I cannot lose this game. So I'm just gonna keep on showing up. You know, But anyways, I'm keep circling the same idea. Thank you for watching the video.